Hello guys, welcome to Edinburgh Zoo. My name is Blair, I'm one of the education officers here, and today we're not looking at cassowaries, although they are looking absolutely stunning right now, so I decided I'd stand here. We are actually going to be looking at our Sunbears. So we've been joined here by Andy, one of our senior keepers on the carnivore section, and we are going to be looking at our lovely Sunbears. We've got a fantastic pair called Babu and Rotana. You might just see having a look at us from the window behind us. And what are we doing today, Andy?
So we've got some enrichment that's been put outside in the enclosure for them. Just a wee minute, we'll let them outside. And well, they're ready. They're waiting patiently. And yeah, we'll have a wee chat about Sunbears, all things Sunbear.
Fantastic. So, well, without further ado, let's swap our camera around. He says, there we go. Now Andy's just heading into the nice little lock section to activate the slide doors. Here we can see this is our boy Rotana, impatiently waiting at the doors, ready to head outside. Babu, our female, is just emerging from the back corridor there. And there goes the slide door open.
Ladies first.
And ladies first indeed. Let's follow them outside. So here they come. Babu out first, our female, and our male Rotana. Now, Andy, how is it that we go about telling apart our boy and our girl, without just looking between the legs, of course?
Yeah, so as you see them moving around, you might notice the bear that you're watching just now is Babu. So she's actually quite a bit younger than Rotana, and as such she looks a lot younger. Rotana's face is a lot more wrinkly, and her face is just a bit less weathered. So Rotana used to live here with his brother Somnang. Somnang went off to another zoo as part of the breeding programme. And they used to fight quite a lot together, and the result of that is you get little scratches and cuts in his face. It was all friendly playing, I will add, but yeah, the result of that is he just looks a bit more older than Babu there. But also, so they're called Sunbears, and with good reason. If either of them were to stand up on their back legs to show us, I'm sure we'll see it at some point, you'll notice a big yellow crest on their chest, and that is meant to be like the rising sun. And each crest is unique. It's like a fingerprint, so it's very different, and every bear has their own unique sun bear crest. So if they stand up, you'll notice that the shapes of these crests are different, so that's a really good way of being able to identify between the bears.
Fantastic. Now, they've been getting enrichment today, which is actually some food enrichment. And you'll see they've got a fantastically long tongue that they use to get food out of these. Are these equine balls, Andy? Usually used
They are, yeah. So traditionally made for horses, but some bears love them as well. You can see Babu's developed a very nifty technique for getting the food out the hole. So there's basically a little hole in the ball, and all the food's inside there, and she has to manipulate the ball so the food falls out. So she's actually copied Rotana and Somnang. They developed this technique first, and they basically move the ball with their feet. The food falls out onto their tummy, and they get a feed. They just lick it off their tummy with that big long tongue that Blair's talking about there. And that's Rotana having a go as well. So it's quite a clever way of doing it. So they use all four legs to roll the ball and move it around, and the bits of food that are inside there will eventually fall out. Some of the chunks of food are a bit bigger, so they won't just fall straight out the hole. The bears might have to work a bit harder to get them out, and that's when you'll see them using their claws or indeed the tongue at the ball entrance there, just to try and get the bits of food out.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to move around so we get a bit of a closer look at our female Babu once again. So Babu's 6 years old. She is the younger of our two, as Andy was saying. Rotana at the grand old age of 17 now. Hello girl, aren't you looking absolutely stunning today? There we go. So they do have some impressive claws on them, don't they? We can have a look at those claws there, but each one's pretty much the length of a human finger. But they are amazingly agile whilst manipulating things between their paws, considering they have no opposable thumbs. Fantastic examples of a bit of bear yoga today. So our bears, what is it that they are feeding on today? What's inside the balls?
So inside the Ekman balls today we've got a wee selection of fresh fruit and dog biscuits. So the dog biscuits we give them as a sort of addition to their diet. It gives them a nice bit of protein. But the fruit's a mixture, so they get pears, apples, and my mind's gone blank, banana, and also some vegetables, well, root veg as well, so carrot and sweet potato. And as well as that, they actually also get a bowl of rice in the morning and again at lunchtime. And that's basically just to help fill them up. The boiled rice is actually something that Ratana used to get before he came here. So Ratana's actually a rescued sun bear, and he's come all the way from Cambodia, where he was rescued from the illegal pet trade. And at the rescue centre there, Free the Bears, it's the charity that saved him. They used to use boiled rice, and he really enjoys this boiled rice, so we didn't want to change that when he arrived. So that's what he gets every day, and Babu's come to Edinburgh Zoo and she now gets the boiled rice, and she equally loves it as well. So it's a really nice thing to be able to give them that helps just fill their tummies up quite nicely. Bears can be quite voracious in their appetites. They'll keep eating if given the chance. But giving them the boiled rice, I don't know if you've ever had rice at home as well, you'll know that once you've had a big bowl of rice you're actually quite full and you'll just settle down, so it's quite nice for them. So all the time when we give them the fresh fruit and veg, we will put it out and about in the enclosure for them in various different ways of presenting the food. So it might be in these Ekman balls or in dog kongs, which are little rubber devices. And basically the name of the game from us is basically to keep the bears working hard. We want them to work for the food as much as possible, whether that's using their senses to find the food, smell the food out, or uncover it when it's been buried, or indeed manipulating these balls as well so that they can work out how to get it out. See, Babu's settling on her hammock now, life of luxury.
Fantastic. She certainly chose her space very carefully there when she was moving the ball down from the top of the climbing frame. You see those claws, fantastic, not just at manipulating these balls containing their food, but of course climbing up into the top reaches of their climbing frames there. I've just lost sight of our boy Ratana. I see he's abandoned his first ball. Our boy is actually up the back on a second bit of climbing apparatus. Can I just say a big shout out to the two people who have already donated money to us today. Of course, here at Edinburgh Zoo we are run by a charity, the Royal Zoological Society of Scotland, so it means the world to us that you guys are donating and helping to raise money which keeps our animals happy, healthy, well fed, heated houses. We have been close to the public here at Edinburgh Zoo. You can see it's completely abandoned. Just to show you, we've been close to the public. It's been a hard time being off show to the public. 90% of our income comes in from people coming through our front doors, and it's been a long time since we've had you guys in. We can't wait to have you join us again. And for those of you who have donated, thank you so much for doing that. It does mean the world to us and helps us keep these amazing animals happy and healthy here in our zoo, so that you can come back and see them again in the future. Not just the two who have donated to us right now, of course. There's been so many people who are been fundraising and other donations coming in from home, so a massive thank you to those of you who have been doing that. I'm just panning around just now to see if we can get another view of our girl Babu. Ratana is on the move as well. Actually, I see he's left his position I saw him last. There they are up the top, both of them. So thank you so much for all of your donations and all your support, and whether you visited us here at Edinburgh Zoo in the past or if you plan to do so again in the future, remember every time you visit us you're supporting our conservation charity, so thank you so much for all that support. Now Babu and Ratana, they've been together 2 years now, haven't they, Andy?
Yeah, so they have. They get on really well, which is fantastic. We were hopeful of maybe breeding from these two bears, and indeed we have not given up hope of that. But we've not, obviously nothing's happened as yet, so we basically just have to keep our fingers crossed. There's not much that we can do to help them along there, so they basically just need to get on with it, and I'm sure they will eventually. So yeah, it's an exciting thing that we can look forward to. But yeah, as a pair, they get on really well, which is nice. They will often be playing together in the house or up on these hammocks that we've seen them on. And yeah, they get on really well. That's the main thing. It's the first step, so we will just give them all the time they need.
Fantastic. We've got our girl Babu back down the front again, and she's found yet another ball to have a little bit of a play with while she gets the food out. There she is, adopting the position. Perfect. I'm going to go side on for you so you can see her a little bit more closely as you're doing this. Now, this isn't the only way that our animals are given their food. They're given a full variety. In fact, Andy, I hear you've been training our Sunbears recently. Is that through do you use food to sort of encourage them to do that training, and why are we doing it?
Yeah, so we do training with quite a wide array of animals here at the zoo. And for the Sunbears, it's very much a husbandry thing. So what we mean by that is it's helping us to help them, basically. So it's how we look after them. So by doing training with the bears, it means we get them up close to us on a daily basis, where we can have a good look at them, basically an examination of them to make sure that they are fit and healthy. And for Rotana especially, he sometimes doesn't like getting the door closed into the back area of the bed. And that's fine, we will never force that upon him, but by doing the training we can actually condition him so that he is comfortable with that door being closed. So should there be a situation where we need him through the back and we need to close that door and have him through there, he's comfortable with that. So it's, as I say, it's very much for his benefit as well as for our benefit. And the animals, they really enjoy the training. It's always optional. If they don't want to participate in a session, they don't have to, that's fine. But if they do participate, they'll get extra treats as a reward, basically. So for these guys, we basically use little bits of pear and banana that are chopped up, and they love their food. They love their pears and bananas, they're sugary fruits. So they're always more than willing to participate in these sessions. And for Babu, it's been starting from scratch with her. So at the moment, we just get her to do quite simple things. So she basically touches her nose to a target, that gets a reward. She gets a reward for that every time she does that. But we've also now trained her to open her mouth on command, which means we can get a really good inspection of her teeth. Bears in general can be quite prone to tooth problems, and for Rotana's side, the rescue bears especially often develop teeth problems. So it allows us to keep a really close eye on inside their mouths and make sure that they are fit and healthy there and they've not got any issues. So it keeps our vets happy as well, that we can get a good inspection.
Fantastic. Now, Somnang, our boy, has moved inside, and sure enough, it looks like our girl, sorry, Rotana has moved inside. Old habits die hard. I mentioned Somnang. Somnang, as Andy was saying, was the brother of Rotana, and he's actually left our zoo and he's headed off to Burgers Zoo in the Netherlands. And we've been hearing good rumours about what's been happening over there with our, I suppose, partners in the European breeding programme over in Burgers Zoo. Andy, what was the latest that's been happening with Somnang, do you hear?
Yeah, so Somnang went over there shortly before Babu arrived here at Edinburgh Zoo, and he paired up with a female there, and they have successfully had some cubs, which is great news, really nice news. To hear that. So yeah, Somnang and Rotana, as I say, they're both rescue bears. They both come from Southeast Asia, where they were wild caught and sold into the illegal pet trade and then rescued. So having him breeding is great news for the European breeding programme, because that's new genetics into the programme, and it's also, we're really, as I say, we're really hopeful that Rotana and Babu will produce some cubs for us here at Edinburgh, and again that would be really important cubs. The genetics of a wild caught bear, it doesn't happen every day, so it only happens nowadays from rescued animals, which doesn't happen that often. So fingers crossed for these two, as we've said, and we can get some cubs from them. That would be fantastic news.
We're certainly seeing a lovely little interactions between the two of them as they look down that back corridor. I always get quite excited whenever I see our female down that back corridor, because it's down there that her coming down would be if we do have any success. Isn't that right, Andy? Yeah,
so just down the end of that corridor, it goes round the corner. She's having a wee look down there just now, and then there's a wee sheltered box in there, and that's where she would hopefully settle down to have cubs if that were to happen. So that's her little area. Rotana doesn't really get to go back there. She keeps him out of there, which is a good thing. It means if we ever get to that stage of having cubs, he knows the situation, so that's good.
Okay, now we've been having such a lovely time with our Sunbears. It does look like one of them is just popping back out again. It's our girl Babu. Here she goes. Now I wonder if we're going to be lucky enough to see that lovely splodge of yellow on her chest, after which Sunbears are named. They do like to come up and stand here occasionally, but she's just having a look around. I suspect she's going to double check if she's, there we go, a little bit of that coloration you're seeing under there. There we go. That is that bit of rising sun underneath our chin, after which the species are named Sunbears. So native to Southeast Asia, an absolutely gorgeous species that we hold here at Edinburgh Zoo. And with our work with conservation out in the wild, they're here as part of our work with the Free the Bears charity that operates down in Southeast Asia, which tries to help animals like this out in the wild. Babu's a captive bred female, but our male, as we know, rescued from the pet trade in Southeast Asia. He's been here since 2010, and he was actually found in a back garden in Cambodia. So hopefully that rescued boy Ratana may well become a father with our female Babu in the future, but that's part of our partnership and our work with the Free the Bears charity out in Southeast Asia, is why we have our Sunbears here in this glorious enclosure here at Edinburgh Zoo. Now I'm just going to give you another little closer look at our female. She is absolutely gorgeous for us today, but I know we are coming towards the end of our session. Guys, we're not running away just yet, so if you are still live, if you are still with us, do feel free to pop some questions in the chat. We've got Andy, our senior keeper, here, and if you don't have any other questions, I'll just give you this gorgeous little moment with our female Sunbear Babu. Can I say again, once again, a massive thank you to those 4 of you now who've helped donate £35 for RZSS just in the time that we've been doing this call. It does mean the world to us, and whether you've donated right now, whether you've donated in the past, or whether you've simply visited us in the past or hope to visit us again in the future, every time you support Edinburgh Zoo, you're supporting RZSS and our conservation charity, a charity that doesn't just host animals in our captive breeding programme, but of course we have a huge number of projects that you are helping to fund all the way around the world just now. So whether it's helping chimpanzees in Uganda, giant anteaters in South America, or animals like our Sunbears in Southeast Asia, we do have that cooperation with the Free the Bears charity. It's a massive thank you for your support of RZSS today and into the future. £40 raised, 5th person putting in a fiver there. Thank you so much. It doesn't seem like a lot, I know, to you guys, but genuinely it makes the world of difference to our animals. So if you've enjoyed this today, another £5 there, guys. You're genuinely, I feel like I'm on at 2 in the morning on some sort of a quiz program, being like, oh yeah, another caller, great. But genuinely it does mean so much to us. It's not a lot to you guys, but it means the world of difference to our animals. So if you have enjoyed today, feel free to donate. If you don't want to donate now, genuinely best thing you can do when we are open again in the future, come back and support us and our conservation charity, the Royal Zoological Society of Scotland. But oh, another donation going in there, thank you. Thank you so much. That's £55 from 7 people, and thank you from our glorious Sunbear there, and of course from our equally majestic senior keeper Andy here. A massive thank you from himself and myself as well. We are coming up to time, I believe, so unfortunately we are going to have to cut it short here, but thank you so much, thank you for your donations, and hopefully see you here at Edinburgh Zoo again into the future. All the best, guys, and see you again soon. Bye bye. And now I need to work out how to finish.